Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another Swagkage vid for you guys. This is going to be a fun one. And this is a video explaining the transformation jutsu, which in my opinion is probably one of the most underutilized abilities in the entire series because of, think of all the uses that ability could afford you. And the fact that we don't see it utilized more is honestly it's kind of disappointing. But anyway, I'm sure just like a lot of the techniques, a lot of people out there are probably confused as to what the transformation jutsu is. So maybe this video is going to explain it to all of us. So let's go ahead and watch the video.
Yo, how's it going, everybody? Swagkage here, and welcome
me.
to today's video, which was originally going to be a Boruto review, but nothing really happened in today's Boruto episode, so I decided
Nothing
to
usually
revive
happens.
the videos that got me popular in the first place, my lore videos, where I explain various aspects of the Naruto world. Today, we're going to be talking about the transformation jutsu, but real quick before I get started, just want to give a shout out to my sponsor for today, Verve. Now, Verve's pretty cool. It's an aggregate app for a whole bunch of different channels.
Is
You can
Verve
watch a
still
wide variety of
around?
content across, but I'm willing to bet the two that you guys are going to care the most about would be Crunchyroll and Funimation. Across the two of them, you can watch just about any anime you could name, and then probably about a billion more. And what's even better is if you find that you generally don't like reading subtitles, more often than not, you can find the anime you're looking for on Funimation and watch it dubbed there instead. If you want to make this really easy on yourself, there's a link in the description. Click it. You'll get a free, ad-free 7-day trial of the Verve Combo Pack, which you can use to watch any of the anime contained on either service. And again, I'll repeat, it's completely free. Using Verve, I've recently started watching JoJo's. I'd highly recommend it. At the very least, if you have a sense of humor, because the show is extremely over the top. Don't want to take too much time away from the topic at hand here, so just one more time, click the link in the description, get yourself a 7-day ad-free trial of Verve, and enjoy your unlimited anime. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this. How does the transformation jutsu work? Now, this is something that I'm surprised I haven't gotten to explaining yet, because it's a pretty fundamental part of the Naruto universe. It doesn't show up a whole lot in the later bits of the story, but as far as the world overall is concerned, this is a really important jutsu. It's also one of the only abilities in the series actually reminiscent of real-life ninja, since it's used primarily for recon and stealth.
Yep.
Now, as the name implies, the transformation jutsu is used to transform into stuff. No surprise there, not really groundbreaking information, but what's a little bit shocking about it, at least when viewed without context, is the fact that despite its near infinite utility, this jutsu is E rank, bottom of the barrel, one of the easiest jutsu to learn in the whole world, which is really weird. Again, it's not super strange because the series does establish pretty early on that this is an entry-level jutsu, as it's one of the first that you see any of the students performing in the academy. Well, once you learn more about how the Naruto world works and you start to understand just how versatile this jutsu is, it becomes a little weird, at least in my opinion, to think that this is one of the easiest jutsu to both learn and perform. Now, apparently, as far as E-rank jutsu go, this one is actually pretty difficult to learn, though that's still not setting the bar very high because it is E-rank. Still, aspiring ninja and academy students do seem to have a hard time mastering it. Two pretty good examples are Naruto and Konohamaru, and plus, actually using the jutsu does sound pretty tough on paper. See, not only do you have to nail the transformation aspect of it when you're using it, but additionally, you have to focus on maintaining the jutsu, otherwise you'll end up accidentally releasing it. Now, this is really difficult in certain situations. Like, for instance, a good example, if you end up in a situation where you have to attempt to have a conversation with somebody, you gotta tell one chunk of your brain, alright, hold on to this jutsu, and then you've gotta dedicate the rest of your brain to thinking of things to say and acting in character as the person you're training.
Yeah,
doesn't sound like very easy stuff. Plus, you
Yeah, see, when he explains it like that, it does kind of seem a little bit confusing that this technique would be considered E rank. In a way, the way the transformation jutsu works, like he said, you have to focus on maintaining it while at the same time having a part of your brain focus on the conversation that's in front of you. So it's essentially like asking yourself to do two things at the same time, which is not an easy thing to do. And it's the same thing as, it reminds me of the principle behind adding nature transformation to your jutsu. For example, like when Naruto tried to master the Rasen Shuriken, he had to create a Rasengan, but at the same time add nature transformation to the Rasengan. And he explained it like trying to do two things at the same time, and the Rasen Shuriken is considered an S-class jutsu. Now, it could be that it's considered an S-class jutsu because of how dangerous it is, but at the same time, you would think that considering both of them all have pretty much like the same principles behind them, having to first of all maintain, like for example, maintain the transformation, and then if you try to do something else while maintaining the transformation. It's like trying to teach yourself to do two things at the same time. You would think that they would be considered the same level of difficulty, and yet it's not, which is weird.
Constantly have to emit chakra while using it, so when dealing with anybody who has the ability to sense chakra or to see chakra, you're also probably gonna want to dedicate some mental resources to suppressing the chakra being emitted from your body. Otherwise, it'll be really easy for whoever it is that has this ability to detect chakra to tell that you're using a jutsu, possibly the transformation jutsu, and it'll blow your cover. There's just a whole lot of stuff you've got to keep in mind when using this ability for recon purposes. Now, thankfully, you're not restricted to just transforming into people when using it. You can also transform into objects and pieces of scenery. The second one here is obviously meant to be used for recon purposes as well, so I won't talk too heavily about it. It has the same weaknesses as transforming into a person, minus the added mental strain of attempting to have a conversation. I doubt there are a whole lot of people who are going to expect you to answer back to them if you're transformed into a fucking tree. Now, transforming into objects has a lot of really nice combat applications. For instance, you can have a buddy of yours transform into a weapon, a sword, a shuriken, you name it, and give yourself a combat advantage over whoever you're fighting. Naruto and Sasuke were able to use the jutsu this way, in combination with a couple of other abilities, to salvage
Still
what
to
looked
this
to
day
be
one of the
an
coolest
unwinnable
moments in the
situation
series.
in the battle against Zabuza, by having Naruto transform into a shuriken, catch Zabuza by surprise, and force him to free Kakashi. Now, this worked on Jonin. Like I said, this jutsu is really good. It's probably ranked, like, really highly in shinobi meta. It's just a staple jutsu everybody should have. On top of transforming into objects and pieces of the environment, you can also transform into animals, which is actually one of the best ways to use this jutsu. If being used for reconnaissance purposes, it does have some of the same weaknesses as transforming into a person does. If somebody can sense the chakra being emitted from your body, it'll blow your cover, all that sort of stuff. But it does have some other applications, like, for instance, when Naruto used it in his fight against Kiba to transform into Akamaru. Tsunade displays another way this jutsu can be used, and I'm not entirely sure how advanced this is, but it seems to be some sort of perpetual state of using the transformation jutsu, since despite the fact that she's 50 years old and naturally looks like a grandma, she's able to make herself look like she's like 20 or 30, and it doesn't seem to cost any chakra to use. Like I said, it's just a perpetual state of being transformed, and the only time it's ever interrupted is when she uses the strength of 100 seal on her.
I mean, it's possible that because of, like what was stated earlier in the video, because you have to expend chakra, assumingly you have to use chakra to maintain the transformation. And considering Tsunade is considered to be like one of the best, one of the best at chakra control in the entire series, it wouldn't be that much of a stretch to believe that she would be able to basically maintain this youthful look on the outside for, what seems like it could be days, weeks, and even months, and that the only time she goes to looking like she actually does is when she, like he said, uses the strength of 100 seals, the Byakugo seal, because a lot of the chakra goes towards doing what the Byakugo seal does, which is increase your strength and heals your body. So a lot of most of your chakra goes to doing that, so you barely have enough chakra to keep up that youthful appearance that you're doing. At least that's what I've always seen it as.
Her forehead. I guess maybe the jutsu draws from the chakra she has stored inside of that seal, but I don't even know if it does that. Even while she's sleeping, or while she's injured, or both, she doesn't revert back to old granny mode. So I'm not entirely sure how it works. Specifically, I guess it's probably just that it drains a really small amount of chakra, and the only time she will fully revert to her regular appearance is when she's exhausted all of the chakra in her
it
body,
is kind of weird that we
all
never
the
got
extra
to see
chakra
what she
stored
looks
inside
like,
of the strength of 100
originally.
That's probably how it works. Tsunade also creatively uses this application of the transformation jutsu to alter her age. That way, whenever she runs into somebody she owes money to, they won't recognize her, which I think is pretty cool. Yamato seems to have a unique variant of the jutsu. Hashirama might possess it as well. I'm not sure. Yamato's the only person who's been seen using it, where he apparently adds wood style to it. It's called wood style transformation, and what he does is he like cloaks himself in wood, and then this big cloud of smoke covers him, much like the regular transformation jutsu, and then once that fades out, he's done transforming. This doesn't seem to have the weaknesses that the regular transformation jutsu does, since Yamato seemed really surprised surprised when Kabuto figured out it was him and not Sasori he was speaking to. Now, what's weird about this is when Yamato used this jutsu, his real body camped out inside of the Hiruko puppet created by the wood he summoned. Now, I don't know if this was specifically because he was using it to transform into the Hiruko shell, and Sasori also camped out inside of that, so the transformation jutsu just decided to make a wooden construct instead of actually transforming Yamato's body, or if this is just how it normally works, where it'll like coat his body in the shell of the person he wants to transform into, and then he can just leave it at will. But regardless, it's very clear that the technique does have some fundamental differences from the regular transformation jutsu. Now, what is without a doubt the most powerful variant of this jutsu far and away, best way it can be used, hands down without a doubt, is the sexy jutsu. Naruto was able to use one of the sexy jutsu's variants against Kaguya with success. I need to repeat, the sexy jutsu was effective against Kaguya. It left her frozen in place for a bit and allowed Naruto to land a pretty clean shot. He also used it to solo Ebisu as a child, used it to convince
well, this
Jiraiya
video is
to train him,
demonetized.
and a whole bunch of other pretty
If it
stuff.
ever does
Of course,
get monetized.
the best part is with mastery of both the Shadow Clone Jutsu and the Sexy Jutsu, Naruto and Konohamaru certainly never had to worry about spending an idol. Now, I haven't dedicated a short time slot in the video to the Jutsu's weaknesses or anything like that, but I don't really need to because I kind of covered all of them at the beginning. And besides, most of the ability's drawbacks only really hinder its recon use, as I can't really think of any downsides tied to using this jutsu to transform into a weapon, for instance. I mean, obviously it drains chakra, but all ninjutsu do. Speaking of combat applications, one thing I nearly forgot to mention is the fact that this jutsu can be used by two people at once in what is called a combination transformation. Kiba and Akamaru have both shown the ability to do this, starting in the Sasuke recovery arc where they both used it to transform into a gigantic two-headed wolf against Sakon and Yukon, and he's since improved it by making it possible to transform using 3 people at once, technically still 2, by creating a shadow clone, then having the shadow clone, Akamaru, and him use the transformation jutsu all at the same time in order to transform into a 3-headed wolf. I don't really see how it's different from the 2-headed wolf aside from the extra head. It doesn't seem substantially more powerful, but I guess there's maybe Kiba made it for some reason, who knows. Naruto transformed in combination with Gamabunta into the Nine-Tailed Fox, not so that he could use any of the Nine-Tails' abilities or anything like that, but so that Gamabunta could use the fox's fangs and claws to tightly grab a hold of Shukaku while Naruto assaulted Gaara and attempted to wake him up. Now, those are the only cases of people using a combination transformation in the series, but it probably happens all the time throughout the Naruto world, since it does seem like a pretty useful ability. I would assume anyway. I mean, I can't think of a lot of instances where having an extra person added to the transformation would make it substantially more efficient. Like, maybe you have 2 people transform into a fucking super shuriken or something. I don't know. But there's gotta be some sort of combat utility for it. Naruto did beat Shukaku using it, so I have to give the jutsu some credit. Anyway, that about does it for my explanation of the transformation jutsu. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to ask them in the comments below. Let me know any other aspects of the Naruto lore you'd like me to cover in a future video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. Swagkage out. Bye.
Okay, so that's the video. Yeah. So that is the video, like I said, and yeah, I mean, for me, the transformation jutsu is absolutely fucking cool, and I really do kind of wish it was utilized more in the series. So anyway, guys, that's going to be the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, guys, if you have a video you want me to watch, just let me know about it in the comment section down below. And especially consider subscribing to help me get to 1,000 before the end of the year. With that being said, guys, I still appreciate every bit of support you've shown me, and I hope you will continue to do so in the future. That's the video. Bye for now.